When it comes to bikes, it's so important to make sure your drivetrain is clean and lubed and shifting is perfectly tuned and that your brakes are in great working order. E-bikes in particular add to this whole set of problems because they're much heavier than normal bikes, 20 pounds usually, and they're very hard on the chain, the shifting, and the brakes. So I've actually employed a system where I lube my chain every ride and check everything over before every ride. But there's a whole new set of problems because of this, and the old solutions don't necessarily work. But I do have a solution for you from a new company called Enduro Engineering. I'm going to go through what they do, but first I'm going to go through what the status quo is. What are the current problems and what are they trying to solve? So the main issue is having a bike stand that's easy to use, that is stable, and that allows you to do the work that you need to do. And before, I was a big fan of these things, the Scorpion bike stand, and a bunch of other manufacturers carry this now. But on e-bikes, these don't work because these have to go through the bottom bracket, and lo and behold, no e-bike has a hole in the bottom bracket. So you can't use them at all. The other common solution is this kind of bike stand. I'm sure you've seen it before, where you just put the rear wheel in, lock it in, and these work fine for normal bikes, but for e-bikes they don't work. Check this out, because you got to roll the chain, right? And you can't do it with these stands or with this kind of bike because there's no back wheeling. There's a one-way bearing on all e-bikes. So and you try to spin forward, you can't because it's locked in, right? So the next solution is the traditional bike stand, and they kind of work, but they present a whole new set of problems as well. The first one is these things are usually 50 to 55 pounds and they are heavy. And really, when you put them on a stand, you have to one arm lift it and lock it in at the same time, and it's very hard. So what I often do with these stands is I just hang it by the saddle. And this works. It's a little wobbly for sure, but then I'm able to do the work that I do. Not very stable, but it gets the job done. If your stand is not always available, you still have to unfold it, and that takes time and put it out of place. But if you have a stand that's always at your workshop, that's very handy, this is what you can do. But really, what I've been doing, and I'm not super proud of this, is I've been flipping the bike over. So it's not easy on the back. You gotta bend the knees, and I have this certain trick where I grab the rear brake and flip it over like this. Boom. Flipping it over is not so hard. Putting it back up is a little harder, and it's not ideal because everything's upside down. Yeah, I can lube the chain that way, but it scratches up my saddle and my bars. And when it's time to tune your derailleur or brakes, everything's upside down. You know, the bolts to center the brakes are upside down on the other side. So it's not easy to do. Less than ideal for sure, but that's what I end up doing. So the real solution I wanted to pitch to you guys is this thing. It is a new product from Enduro Engineering. It's a bike stand. It'll work on all bikes, but it was, I think, specifically designed with e-bikes in mind. You know, they're a motorcycle company, so they've encountered this problem before. You want to work on your motorcycle and it's kind of heavy. You can't be flipping it upside down or lifting it to a bike stand. So here is the genius of it. All you need to do, so first you gotta get the pedal out of the way. All you need to do is back it in. I'm stepping on it to stabilize it, and then you're pretty much done. You just need to lift the rear over to the stands, and now I'm on. And it is stable. It's got nice feet to it. It has a strap. You know, the stability is based on the front. The closer it stays to the front, the more it's not going to move. So if you have a problem, you have a fender or something, then you put this rubber strap on. But in all time I've been using it, not necessary. There's a couple levels of adjustability on this thing. Super cool. One, this thing is swivel, so it's an automatic adjustment, and I'll show you in a bit. The height of it is completely adjustable, tool free, with these notches right here. And finally, this base is completely adjustable as well. It slides front to back. And I'll tell you some strengths and weaknesses later on in this video. But now I'm dialed in. I'm locked in. I am ready to lube my chain. And really, lubing the chain is a simple task once you have it stable. All you really need is a steel brush. I'm gonna have another video for you guys on how to do this. So you just run it many times. But check this out. One of the benefits is there's no dead spot in the chain. And then one of the things I love about my new lubing solution is I have these micro syringe with metal tip. 3.5 revolutions and I'm on. Everything goes in the roller and not a drop spilled usually. So I'll do another video on my lubing technique and how these things come about. So there it is. You can work on your shifting very well. Brakes, you can center your brakes super easily, very stable. So the weaknesses of this solution are, I think, twofold. One is you can't work on the front wheel, front brakes and whatnot. You know, there's just no weight for this to spin. That's how it's stabilized. The other one is they're built kind of long. You know, when you have, I had my sister's small road bike on it, and the tire was hitting this part. And then I have some bikes that I'll show you that are not quite sitting on the 4 rubber feet. And some of my bikes, they're only on 2 rubber feet. Not a big deal, still works, but if this thing hits, then it's not gonna spin. So I'll show you a little bit of the adjustability before we sign off here. This adjusts to any bike and height, super cool, and you can adjust the tension of the swiveling. I have it a little bit tight. And then the next thing is there's a wheel here. It's all tool free, which is kind of amazing. This thing adjusts to the wheelbase, so it'll hug your bottom bracket, cradle it right where you want it. I have it on the minimum. And finally, height adjustability. I think this is more to do with wheel sizes. You know, probably a kid's bike right here, or depending on how you want to work. But you don't even have to lock it. The design just keeps it in place. So super cool. And like I said, you have this strap here if you want to keep it secure. But 150 bucks for this thing, not cheap. Could be a weakness, but once you see it in construction and design, man, you really will appreciate it. Shipped very, very flat as well, very compact. You just put it together with a couple bolts, but it's light. You know, I don't know if this is even 10 pounds, maybe 6-7 pounds. I'll weigh it, and what happens is it's very easy to transport, unlike your bike stand or whatnot. But it's stable and strong as well. I checked with them. I've left it outside during all the California rains, and it's still good. But I'm not sure if the stainless steel is good for sure, good construction. But I'm not sure if the hardware is waterproof. If it rusts, the hardware, no big deal, right? The other benefit of this thing is it's a bike stand. You know, you could park the bike in your garage right on top of it. It's stable, not going to fall. On an e-bike, that's even more important. You don't want your heavy bike falling on something, on your car or whatnot. The other thing is it's cool to have a charging station where you just put your charger beside it, and where you could just plug it in every time. And as you're doing that, just clean the chain and lube it up. Dialed. You know, it's good to have a dialed solution that's not too expensive, but really it's purpose built for, you know, the issues of e-bikes or heavy bikes, or even any different size bikes. So we'll have a coupon code on the description, 10% off, I believe. If you got to try it, you know, share with us, you know, yay or nay. Do you like it or not? Do you think it's a good value? Thanks a ton, guys.